What is up, guys? Stark here. I am back for another Fate video, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the calendar for the month of June 2021. So these summer months for Fate on NA are really tricky months to, I guess, predict because of the anniversary and the fact that our anniversary is different than JP's anniversary. So we get things out of order a little bit for like June, July, and August. Kind of things get a little tossed around, changed up a little bit. We overall get the same content, but it's just a little bit of a different order. So yeah, predicting these months are very difficult, and I'm definitely not going to say that this is even remotely close to being right. It's probably going to be way off. But ultimately, at the end of the day, these are the events and the characters you should expect to see in the month of June. There is one caveat to that, which we will talk about when we get there. But yeah, so regardless, if the dates might be a little off, these characters will still be coming to the game, and presumably in the same order. So it'll just help you guys prepare a little bit for the things to come. So first up, we do have a couple banners that are currently already available on Global, and that is going to be the Interlude 9 campaign banner and the Lost Belt 4 pre-release campaign banner. So that features quite a few different servants, and this month is definitely very crowded for servants. And on the first, we do have Old Man Lee rated up as the 5-star servant for the Interlude banner. And we also have Demia and the Assassin of the Nightless City rated up for that banner. And then for the pre-release campaign banner, we have Arjuna rated up as well as Rama. Now those two are going to be rated up throughout the entirety of their event, so there's not going to be any changes there. So this will be the only time I really talk about that banner. The Interlude banner will change periodically throughout the day, so we will go ahead and mention that. So on the second, Lee switches out for Osaka Bihime, and everything else stays the same for the other banners. And now this is where things get a little tricky. Yeah, I know it's already the 2nd of June, literally the second day of the month, but things do really get tricky here. So let me try and explain what's happening. So they have already announced that there's going to be a Chaldea broadcast on the 2nd of June, and typically that is like when we get new content. So after the broadcast, the game goes down for maintenance, and then when the game comes back online, we have new content. So it's just tricky because it's happening so early in the month. So if you look at JP, I believe they got their Lost Belt 4 broadcast on the 15th of June, and then they got the Lost Belt 4 release on the 15th of June after the broadcast. So that stands to reason that we should get Lost Belt 4 on the 3rd of June, which will be after the maintenance. It'll carry over into the next day. I could be completely wrong here, and this is what I was talking about before, where the dates might be completely off. So they could announce that Lost Belt 4 will be coming out on, like, say, Monday the 7th, which is what I originally planned to do for the calendar video. I originally planned to do it on a Monday for Lost Belt 4, but it just doesn't make sense with everything else that's happening in the month. So we're going to go ahead and slate it in here for Thursday the 3rd, which is going to be right after the broadcast and the maintenance period. So we'll see what happens. I'm typically never 100% correct on these calendar videos, but at least it'll show you that Lost Belt 4 is coming very soon, and much sooner than it did on JP. I think it's about 2 weeks ahead of schedule for JP. Anyway, though, Lost Belt 4 will eventually come, even if it's like the 3rd or the 7th, or whenever they decide to release it. And it will come with 2 separate banners. The first one is going to be for Ganesha, who is going to be a 5-star Moon Cancer. And then she will also come out with a 4-star Saber, Lakshmi Bai, and a 3-star Archer, William Tell. Now, the one thing about this is this batch is not locked, so these characters are essentially permanent characters that you can get from, the story banner or any other banner typically that is available. And William Tell will be available in the Friend Point Gacha as well. So really, not anything that you really need to go out of your way to pull on. Personally, I have no plans on pulling on this banner until I, check a few other boxes on my list. I might circle back just to try and get them, because I do think that initial banners have higher rate ups, but that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. There's no changes to the other banners for the 3rd of June. Now, a lot of these banners do have, like, they're not changing, so a lot of the characters are rated up throughout the entirety of their banners, and that is going to be the same for Lost Belt Part 1. So on the 4th, there's going to be no changes whatsoever to any of the banners, and then on the 5th, the Interlude Campaign 9 banner will have Old Man Lee added back into the mix, so all of those servants will be rated up, and then Arjuna's banner will stay the same, and Lost Belt 4 Part 1 will stay the same. And this is actually going to be exactly the same until the 10th of June. So we are going to go ahead and skip right over to the 10th of June. And this is going to give us Lost Belt 4 Part 2's banner, which is significantly better and worth pulling on a lot more than for Ganesha. There's a couple reasons for that. The first one is because of Arjuna Alter, who is the best character coming out this month, let alone this year. You could argue that he's one of the better characters that's coming out this entire year. So you definitely want to make sure you get that. The other reason is that Arjuna Alter is limited as opposed to Ganesha, who is not limited, and then the other characters are story locked, so you want to make sure you get those characters before that banner goes away, otherwise you're going to have a very difficult time getting them. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But Arjuna Alter, must have, in my opinion. He's a very good character. A lot of people have been saving up and will be continuing to save up until he comes out in order to hope to get him. Myself included, I'm definitely going to be pulling for him, and I definitely plan on walking away on the 10th or the 11th or whenever he comes out with him in hand. Hopefully NP level 2 at that. So yeah, it's a very, very crowded day for June 10th. It is the final day for the Lost Belt 9 campaign, which may be questioned whether or not that Part 2 is going to come out on the 10th or the 11th, but it does come out a week after Part 1, so I did schedule it for the 10th. Regardless, yeah, last day for Interlude 9 campaign's banner. So moving on to the 11th, there are no changes for the 11th or the 12th. Pretty much the only difference between Lost Belt 1 and 2 is that Arjuna will swap out with Karna for a couple of the days. So on the 13th, Karna actually gets added to the mix, and that'll be the same for the 14th as well. However, on the 14th, we do have a new banner, another new banner. I know there's a lot of banners, a lot of characters. I said it's a very crowded month. So we have the 17 million download campaign for JP anyway, which introduces Nero Bride back into the mix and the regular Nero. I'm wondering if NA will actually get this banner, or if we will just kind of skip it for now and go back to it at a different point in time when it's not as crowded. But we still could very well see this, maybe just a little bit later on. Anyway though, Lost Belt 4 Part 1 and 4 Part 2 stay the same, and this will be the same for the 15th. I should mention that both Neros are rated up for the entirety of their event, so we're not going to really touch on that too much. The 16th will see Arjuna Alter fall off his banner, so it's just Karna there, and this will also be the final day to pull for Lost Belt 4 Part 1 characters, so that banner will go away at the end of the day on the 16th. So if you did need any of those characters, go ahead and pull for them before then. And then on the 17th, nothing else changes. It's just going to be Lost Belt 4 Part 2 and the Nero banner. And then this should also be the same on the 18th. And then on the 19th, Karna and Arjuna Alter swap out. And this will be the same on the 20th as well. On the 21st, Arjuna Alter and Karna swap out. And this will be the same for the 22nd. And then on the 23rd, Karna and Arjuna Alter swap out once again. And this will be the same for the 24th as well, which should presumably be the final day for Lost Belt 4 Part 2. Moving on to the 25th, and this is where things get really tricky for Global, and this is also where I could be completely wrong in my predictions. So we have a new event that is going to be coming out, which is going to introduce the new 5-star Avenger, Demon Nobunaga. Now, in JP, Demon Nobunaga came out relatively late, and came out in July. But for for us on Global, our anniversary is the end of June. We usually get the anniversary events at the beginning of July, typically. And for the guaranteed SSR banner for JP at least, Demon Nobunaga was actually one of those characters that you were able to get. And obviously the really big drawback to that is that they'd either have to change the guaranteed SSR for Global, which I guess is entirely possible, or they would just have to release Demon Nobunaga first before the anniversary, which is what I think they're going to do. And if we take everything at face value with the Chaldea broadcast being on the 3rd, and if we can assume that Lost Belt 4 will come out on the 3rd as well, then we have a lot of dead period at the end of the month, which means that it should be very easy to fit in Demon Nobunaga's banner and the event that comes with it in that period of time, being able to finish up right before the anniversary, which means that we will be able to get Demon Nobunaga on the guaranteed SSR banner. Now, of course, this is just a guess on my part. It is a pretty good chance of happening. I mean, probably won't happen on the 25th of June. The dates are always going to be up in the air because it's just really hard to guess exactly what dates things are going to come out unless there's some sort of like confirmation ahead of time. But yeah, I do think we should see Demon Nobunaga at some point at the end of the month, and she's a really good character as well. So that's really cool. It sucks that she's coming so close after Arjuna. It's like literally like the day after he leaves. So that might be a little difficult to kind of pull for her, but yeah, good character in my opinion, so I'll be pulling for her anyway. She does come out with 2 other characters, by the way. She comes out with Summer Oda Nobunaga, and then she's also going to come out with a new 3-star character, and this is going to be Mori Nagayoshi. Now, he is a 3-star limited servant, so you will definitely want to at least try and get 1 copy of him in your pulls for Nobunaga. But yeah, all 3 of those characters are rated up throughout the entirety of their event, and that is pretty much going to take us to the end of the month. There's really not much else happening. So the only other things to point out here is that Nero's banner will end on the 27th, and then for the 28th, 29th, and 30th, it'll just be Nobunaga's banner to finish out the month of June. So yeah, there's a lot of different variables in the month of June, and like I said, I could be completely wrong and off base, but at the end of the day, these are the characters that you should be expecting to see in the month of June, and maybe Nobunaga might be early July, but it's a pretty safe bet that she will come out at the end of June. But yeah, lots of good banners, which is kind of a bad thing when they have 2 really good banners right back to back. Makes it kind of difficult to pull for both of them, so you have to pick and choose which ones. But me personally, I will be pulling in, I guess in this order of like which ones I want the most. So Arjuna Altar will be the top banner for me for this month, and then Demon Nobunaga, and then Ganesha. And the only way I'll pull for Ganesha, like I still plan on pulling for her, just I don't really care if I get her or not. I'm gonna pull for Lost Belt 4 Part 2 first. I'm going to get Arjuna Altar, I'm going to get Ash, and I'm going to get Asclepius, and then I'm going to go back on Part 1 and see if I can get those characters. I did the same thing with Lost Belt 3. I didn't really succeed in getting those characters, but again, those characters are not limited, so I can pick them up whenever, really. And I do plan on taking Ganesha with my 5-star ticket in the future, next year, so that's why I'm really not that keen on pulling for her. But I will try at least and see what happens, depending on how many courts it takes to get Arjuna, of course. And then, you know, I have those courts there to try and pull for Nobunaga as well. Who I do plan on getting all 3 of those characters on that banner. So yeah, really packed month. I'm not pulling for Nero. I already have Neros. If you don't have Neros, it could be a really good banner to pull for. Both of the Neros are really good. It's just a shame that they're sandwiched in between 2 better banners, really. But yeah, there's a lot of really good servants here. I really wouldn't fault if you're pulling for any of these characters whatsoever. But that is the end of this calendar video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Like I said, I do apologize for the fact that these are probably going to be wrong date-wise, but we'll see. I guess we'll look back in July and see how accurate this was. But yeah, let me know in the comments what characters you guys are excited for the most in June, and what banners you're going to be pulling for. And I hope you did like this video. If you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I do have the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord, so feel free to check those out, and I'll see you guys next time.